welcome to week 1 of our Super Shoulders course. To join in, you will need at bare minimum an exercise band. Any kind of band will do, but I tend to prefer this kind because if you want to tie it into a loop, you can. If you want to be able to have your arms stretched out, you can. These are not very expensive. They're quite easy to find on like Amazon or wherever you want to support. Okay, so this is kind of your bare minimum. If you've got one already and you want to kind of make do with it and you've just got like a little looped one, then for some things, having some kind of broom handle or stick will also help. And we will need this to take our starting point pictures, okay? I'm going to go into more information about that in a minute. And you may also want a block, okay? But a stack of books will also do the job. So if you don't have a block, don't worry. It's okay to improvise with whatever you've got at home. So the first thing we need to do is take our starting pictures. I am going to post examples of the starting pictures alongside this video so that you can have very good examples of them, and I will show you a list of what we're aiming for in those different positions. Today I just want to visually show you how I would do it. So we have lots of different positions in our shoulders, okay? So just as an example, this is flexion, this is extension, okay? This is abduction, this is adduction. This is internal rotation, this is outternal. Oh my God, I literally can't. It's only Tuesday. My brain's already mush and it's only Tuesday. So external rotation. We also have external and we have internal. So we obviously would know a little bit more about this as pole dancers because we use those, okay? And obviously we can have flexion in internal, so twisty grip, or external, okay? I'm going to go into a lot more detail about these different positions and how they actually relate to what we do on the pole. That's kind of coming next week. So the first week we'll be covering flexion and how that affects what we do on the pole. There will be some pole work, but that will be right at the end and it will be optional. Okay, so you can skip past it and just go to the stretching section if you don't want to do the pole work, if you don't have a pole at home. I would recommend you watch it anyways, because even if you don't have a pole at home, you can learn those kind of key concepts and then take them back to your studio when you're next in class, okay? So anyways, we need to measure these different things. So the first one we're going to measure is flexion. So the way we're going to do that, you may need a tripod, you might need to prop your camera up somewhere. What I tend to do is set a timer, prop my camera up, and then run. The only one that you will need someone else to take a picture of, unless you've got a very fancy tripod, is thoracic rotation. So I haven't spoken about that yet, but it is super, super important for what we do. So thoracic rotation is where your body twists. That's where we need this. For this one, you will need someone who can take a picture from overhead, so looking directly down on top of you. So if you don't get to do that before you start this today, that's fine, but get someone to help you with it as soon as possible, okay? So first one is flexion, and we're going to look at 2 versions of flexion. So to get your picture, this is not ideal. Ideally you want a flat wall. So we're going to sit with our back against a flat wall, and we want to be as close as possible. The whole of our back is pushing into the wall, and I've got my feet tucked up as close as I can get in front of me, okay? Now when we do this, we don't want to let our rib cage or our back or anything start to arch away from the wall. So I am pushing really back into the wall with my spine, okay? So the first one you're going to measure is your flexion in neutral. So we're just going to take the arms shoulder width apart, in front, thumbs up, and we're just going to take them as high as we can get them without arching the back, okay, without forcing them to go any higher. So when you feel resistance, you can just stop. And you're going to take your picture from sideways on. Ideally, you want it to kind of be about shoulder height and looking directly at you. So you don't want to be looking down, you don't want to be looking up, you don't want to be looking from the side. You want to be looking square on to where you are. If you cannot physically do that, if you're doing this by yourself and you're propping your camera up, just make sure any pictures you take for your progress in the future, that they are taken exactly the same way. Okay, so this might not be super accurate, the figure you're getting might not be accurate, but you will be able to see if you're progressing. Okay, so that's your first one. You're just going to take it as high as you can and take a picture sideways on. Okay, next one you're going to do is external rotation. So we're going to take the thumbs away from the middle of the body. Okay, so they're pointing away from the body. With this one, we have to be careful that our elbows, our elbow pits, okay, don't start to roll in, because they're going to want to. So you're going to make sure your palm and your elbow pit keep facing the ceiling. You're going to do the same again, and you're going to measure it again. So this one's probably going to be a lot worse, because external rotation is usually for most people a lot tighter. Okay, so that's your first two. Then we're going to measure extension. So we're going to lie on our tummy. This is where your stick comes in again. You can use a band, but a stick is better. You're going to lie on your front. You're going to hold your stick with your palms up to the ceiling, either side of your body. Forehead down to the floor. And you're just going to raise them up as high as you can. Okay. With that one again, get the camera low and facing onto your body. Okay, so that you are getting an accurate reading of that angle on the shoulder. Okay, so I would go kind of come in line with the shoulder and directly at it on the level of the body. Okay. External and internal, you will do ideally raised up. So on a bed, on a sofa, on an exercise bench, if you've got a table big enough, okay, because our external rotation, I think, tends to go further than the floor. So what I mean by that, let me go here. So you're going to lie on your back, on your sofa, on your chair, whatever you're going to be on. Your elbow is going to come out in line with your shoulder, okay, so directly in line. And the edge of your bed or your sofa or your exercise bench is going to go just on the inside of that elbow. Okay, so that your hand can clear it. We're going to hold the shoulder down. I'm going to do internal first. And you're going to take the hand as low as you can. Okay, without letting the shoulder lift too much. Okay, if you lift, you can see you can go a lot further. You could measure both, to be fair. I'm not sure of the benefits over keeping the shoulder back and down and letting it kind of come up. I think probably back and down is better, but it might not be. Okay, I don't have all of the answers, guys. I'm not a physiotherapist. I'm not a I haven't got a sports science degree. I'm going by what I've learned over the years. Okay, so I've been told to pin the shoulder down. So that's internal, and again, you're going to measure it. You're going to take a picture, okay, from the lowest point, sideways on again, and in line with the body. Then you're going to go for external. So this is the one where, look, I can get it flat. So I can go further, which means it's got a greater range of movement. So taking it on the floor isn't actually accurate unless you're really inhibited in your external rotation, okay? And then, so do that both ones on both arms, okay? Make sure you remember which arm is which when you record it. And then your thoracic rotation. Okay, so we're gonna sit. I would use the mat as your guide. And the person taking the picture from above, they should be thinking portrait, and the long side is gonna go in line with your legs, okay? And the width is gonna go in line with your hips. So we're gonna hold the bar just on the back of our shoulders and bring our hands on to the bar, okay? And then what we're going to try and do is just twist as far as we can, keep in contact with the bar. It'll want to come off because your shoulders probably will open more than your chest will, okay? So try not to let that happen. So keep it really tight and turn as far as you can one way, take a picture, turn as far as you can the other way, take a picture, okay, and make sure you know which one is which direction. So that's how we get our starting pictures. I will show examples, okay, and then you're going to edit them in an app. I will put some suggestions for apps that work and how to use them with this post in the text, okay? So that's the starting point. Pause and go and figure that out and then come back and we're going to get warm. Cool. Okay, so this isn't as necessary now. The only reason you might want that stick is if you don't have a long band. Okay, so keep it around if you don't have a long band. So we've talked a little bit about the different directions of the shoulders. We're going to talk more next time about how that relates to specific tricks. So next week will be flexion, then we'll do internal rotation, then we'll do external rotation, then we'll maybe do abduction. I don't know, we'll see. We'll do thoracic rotation. We might combine some of them into one class depending on kind of what's happening so far and how well it's going. Okay, so now we need to figure out, one, how do we improve the range of movement? Okay, now it's important that we have good range of movement. For example, if you're trying to do like a ballerina, or some people know it as a pretzel spin, your shoulder is in flexion and internal rotation. Okay, we're going to go into more about this when we get to it, but that's a very intense position for your shoulder. Okay, it's a very we call it closed packed position. So everything in your shoulder joint is very kind of cramped in. And you're also going to be very much at your maximum on your tendons, your ligaments and your muscles. We need to have good capacity. We need to actually have more capacity than the tricks we're trying to achieve. Otherwise, that's why we get injured. But it also means that we will be held back from certain tricks. So I have students who cannot do ballerina because their shoulders cannot get in that position. They're not safe. I have other shoulders for whom anything kind of iguana or bow and arrow is difficult because they don't have very good extension. So this is all about leveling up and strengthening. It's a lot of theory so far. Let's start to work on how we fix these things, okay? There will be, like I say, a section on using the pole, and that will start to bring in some more strength training type stuff. Today what we're going to focus on is what we call like prehab. Okay, so prehab exercises are what we do to avoid needing rehab exercises. Okay, so we don't have to necessarily go to a physio or get some kind of injection or surgery. Okay, we're trying to prevent needing to get that point. So this is good when you've just got a little niggle or you're struggling to try and get somewhere. Okay, you want to get this trick, you can't do it because your shoulder won't let you. Okay, this is where we start. We're going to do a warm-up, we're going to do some exercises with the band and just with our body, and then we're going to do a really deep stretch to finish. Okay, some of you who are my students will have done this type of class with me before. Because this is the introduction week, we are not getting really into the nitty-gritty and the technical stuff in relation to the pole just yet. I just want to introduce you to the concept of these exercises. Okay, so a lot of talking, I'm sorry, less talking now. So warm up, you can kneel, you can stand. I'm going to kneel because otherwise I'll cut my head off. I'm going to kneel in your own time now. Let's go, looking over each shoulder. I'm also going to try and do a video with foam rollers and a ball as well to show you how you can self-release some of these muscles that get tight. Little semicircle, but I know not everyone's got those, so I'm going to do that as a separate thing. Nice and gentle to begin with, and then looking up and down. So what most people don't realise, even body weight exercises can be as hard or as easy as you make them. So this should be really intense today once we get going. You should be really pushing yourself. And it should be fairly safe unless you've got a specific injury. If you've got any injuries, please let me know before you try this. Okay, we're going to do full circles. I'm going to pull my head away from my shoulders so I'm lengthening my neck all the way around, nice and slow. Get really deep. Keep pulling the shoulders away from the top of the head. And the other way. Those bits that feel particularly horrible, you can stay with them. You might find it's a bit crunchy. Not unusual to be crunchy. There's no pain with your crunching, you're probably okay. I wouldn't worry about it too much. You might want to see a chiro or a physio or a massage therapist if you're very crunchy, but probably okay. And then shoulders back, nice big circles. And the other way. Just checking the time so I can pace myself. As we'll be here all day, there's so much we could talk about. That's why I have to split it into a course rather than a one-off workshop. And then arms straight if you can, if you've got room. I'm a little bit limited here. Oh, hitting the radiator. And the other way. You don't need a lot of space for most of this, but just be a little bit aware of your surroundings. Apparently I'm not. Okay, and then shoulders out to the side, arms out to the side, little circles. Other direction. I need to move this way slightly because I keep hitting that radiator, it's very close to me. And pushing forwards. Just little pushes. And pushing back. And pushing down. And pushing up. Might start to feel the burn now. And then we're going to swing our arms back. I'm very aware of my radiator. I'm just going to come forward a little bit. Hopefully you can still see me. You could do this standing. I'm only doing it sitting because I can't easily fit my whole self in here. I need a better room. I'm going to hopefully find somewhere better to film. The more of you that join, the better I can, the more I can afford to rent out the studio. So I'll have much better space. So tell your friends to join us. Okay, and then we're going to go side to side, keeping the chest forward to begin with. Let's go a little bit lower. Okay, now we're going to twist the upper body. So like looking over our shoulder, keep the hips forwards. You can bend the arms now if you want. And then we're going to swing the arms up. Nice and tall. Let your shoulders come up if they want to. And then we're going to take our shoulders up to our ears. I'm just going to take my jumper off, stay there. Getting a bit warm now. Annoyingly, even when it's hot in the UK, which it is today, it's really hot today. Shoulders up by the ears, pull them down. My house is still really cold. It's not that warm in here. Shoulders up to the ears, really reach them up to your ears and squeeze them down. Don't force them down. We have spoken about this before, don't force them. Reach and down and up and down. And then we're going to take the palms forward. We're going to squeeze the shoulder blades back and down, stick our boobs out. Keeping the tension, we're going to reach all the way up really high. And then we're going to squeeze all the way down. Again, this is as hard as you make it. So if you really squeeze, it's going to be harder. Down down, and again, up, down. Okay, take the elbows to shoulder height, rotate down and up. Try and really go past your range of movement. Again, it should feel hard. It shouldn't feel easy. Should be getting a bit of shoulder burn now. And then we're going to come in and out, in and out. Really squeeze the shoulders back at the back. Okay, first thing we're going to do, exercise-wise, is something called a scap press-up. Some people call it a shoulder press-up. To begin with, we're just going to do this from kneeling. Eventually, you can take the legs out into a full press-up, but today this should be fine, there should be plenty. So what we're going to do is I'm going to have my hands under my shoulders and my knees under my hips. My fingers are spread out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to think about sucking my shoulders back and down as my rib cage drops, but I'm trying not to like arch my whole back. Okay, so my spine is staying as neutral as possible. So I'm slightly tucking my bum under. So I'm going to really suck down and then I'm going to really push away. Down, push away. Now the purpose of this exercise, when our arms are overhead, our shoulder blades come around the side of the body. So they wrap, okay? When we're in short arm position on the pole, our shoulders go back and down. So they squeeze together at the back. These muscles here, okay, are pulling in. If our shoulders can't move freely from out to the in, then our shoulders are restricted. Okay, so scapula can restrict your arms. It can literally just be the scapula. Sometimes it's the pecs. That's a little bit more complicated. We will talk about that later down the line. But quite often it's the scapula. You need them to be able to move really freely. Now, when you start this, they might not move a lot. Okay, hopefully with time they will. I don't know how well you can see this. Hopefully it's really clear. If you're confused, I can try and get someone to hold the phone above me while I'm doing it so you can really see what's happening, but hopefully you can. So I'm just going to do 10 of these. So hands under shoulders, knees under hips. Do not arch the back, okay? Isolate your shoulders. So shoulder blades back and down together like you're sticking your boobs out, and your shoulder blades, you're trying to get them to touch. Really push the floor away. And when I say push, all the way into the mid-back. Okay, really push. And down. And up. Okay, that was 2. 3, keep going. Do it as slow as you need to. Should be 5. I've lost count. I think we've got 2 more. 1 more. Okay. So yeah, that one is so important actually. It's very underappreciated as an exercise because it should actually feel really hard work. If you're going to your maximum range, it will feel hard. Okay. So now back to kneeling. We're going to do some shoulder circles here. Okay. Nice big circles. Shoulders up to the ears and away. Chest out and in. Keep it going. Keep the head fairly neutral, so don't have it up, don't tuck it right in. Just look at your hands. And the other way. I have a fidgety dog. Okay, now we're going to arch the spine as much as we can. Don't force your lower back. If it feels pinchy, just ease off a little bit. So head towards bum, shoulders back and down. Now we're going to round the back, tuck the chin in, really push the floor away. And again, arching. Essentially our cat-cow position. Keep going between the two. And everything's connected, so it's good to get the spine moving as well, just a little bit. Okay, we're going to circle. So I'm circling my head and my body follows. I'm pushing away at the top, sucking the shoulders down at the bottom. Arch to rounded, but with a circular motion. Do the best you can. Other way. I don't know if you can hear that. There's some idiots on my street making an absolute fucking noise. Okay, your shoulders are starting to feel it. Just shake it off for a second. They might already be quite sore because we should be trying to go to our maximum all the time with this. Okay, we're now going to do some arm raises. This is good for our flexion. So we're going to start thumb up to the ceiling, hand down on the floor. Keep the spine neutral, look at the floor. We're going to lift this hand up as high as we can without arching our back. Okay, keep it neutral. 10 times. Let's go. 10, 9, 8. Keep it going. Should feel hard. Try and get it as high as you can. 5, 2, 1. Other side. Bum up. 10, 9, 5, 3, 2, 1. Same again, but now an external rotation. So external rotation, we've gone from thumbs up to the ceiling to out away from the body. Remember, as you go up, if the hand starts to turn in, don't go any higher, okay? Because all you're doing is going back to neutral. So keep the armpit, the elbow pit, and the hand up to the ceiling. Go. 10, 9, 8, 7. Keep it going. 3, 2, 1. Swap hands. That one should feel harder. 10. Need to move slightly. 9. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, shake it off a second. Whew. This isn't going to feel the same as like strength training, but you should feel quite deep in your joint, I find. Kind of burny. Okay, this is really good. This is building strength, stability and flexibility in some of those deeper muscles of your rotator cuff or other parts that are, there's so much going on with the shoulders, so many different muscles. You've got your delts and, you're attached with your biceps and triceps, and you've got lats and pecs, and at the back you've got your traps, and you've got there's so much going on here. And then you've got your deep rotator cuff, which is lots of little muscles. We're really going to get into all of these different things. So this is really good. Okay, so we're then going to bring in a thoracic rotation one. I'm just checking if there's anything else. So usually I would do this in the studio before I then film it, because I then get a bit of practice with what I'm going to say and how I'm going to do it, and I'll remember what I've done. But I keep forgetting to sort this out on our booking system. So I haven't actually started this in the studio yet. I'm hoping in the next few weeks. So you're actually ahead, which means you're kind of my test dummies. So if I forget anything, I'll let you know next week. But yeah, I've got my lesson plan written down, and I might have to look at it a little bit. So thoracic rotation is basically how much the upper body can twist. And obviously everything's interconnected. So if that's inhibited, this in particular is one that we use quite a lot in pole, particularly things like ballerina. I'm trying to think, there's probably, what's it called? Where's my mind gone blank? Broken doll. Anything where your body's really twisting away from your hips, okay? This is going to hold you back if it's not very good. So we're going to stay in our kneeling position, and then we've got one more in our kneeling position. We're going to hold our band, we're going to pin it underneath our hand, and it's going to be under our shoulder. Now, how tight you're going to want it varies from person to person and band to band. So I'm going to hold it quite tight with my elbow tucked in and my hand kind of by my side. And we're going to try to pull and turn, okay, about 10 times on each side. I say about, we're going to do 10 times. So I've pinned the band, I've got this nice and tight. I think I want mine slightly tighter. Elbow stays in, twist, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, keep going, 4, it's good, 2, 1. Okay, so the movement is coming from that twist, not from the arm. So it very much needs to be tight before we start twisting. So if that didn't feel right, feel free to pause and do it again. Other side now. So it's pinned under my hand, hands under my shoulder. I'm going to get this tight, okay, however tight you feel you need to for it to be a challenge. Remember, the elbow is tucked into the side, the hand is just kind of like thumb down. Okay, and then when we're ready, 10, 9, pay attention if one side feels worse. Keep going. Make sure you're breathing. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. Whew. That one for me is quite intense, especially on my left side. I know there's a lot of explanation today because it's very much the introduction. Next week we will just get into these exercises with just the key points, okay? So it won't take as long. Okay, now we're going to go onto our tummy first. We will, oh, actually one more we're forgetting. One more. So from kneeling, flex your toes under. What we're going to do, we're going to push back into downward dog. We're going to push the floor away with the shoulders, pull the shoulders down, back to our knees, okay? And we're going to keep repeating 10 times. So let me show you from this side what the shoulders are doing. Hopefully you can kind of see. So essentially it's push and retract, okay? Really hard to do with little space, but you get the gist. So flex the toes under, hands under shoulders, push back, okay? It's fine if the knees need to bend a little bit actually with this one. And then we're going to really push the floor away and then pull the shoulders back. Don't force them, but just let them come away from the ears. Back to the knees, back up. Push and down. Good, keep going. You might want your hands a little bit wider, see how you feel. And again, not unusual to be crunchy. As long as there's no pain, you're good. If there is, don't do it. So I think this is 4, I might be wrong, I've been chatting, 3, 2, and one more. Ooh, mine are really crunchy today. Okay, so we're going to lie on our tummy. I feel like I don't actually have enough space here, but let me see what I can do. So. Okay, so lying on your tummy, you might want a pillow or something to put under your head. Head's going to go flat to the floor. Hands on the back of the neck, and we're going to start off by just trying to lift the shoulder of the elbows up towards each other 10 times. So 10, 9, really squeeze. Keep it going. Should feel like hard work. 5, 3, 2, 1. Okay, now we're going to do what we call swimmers. So just watch to begin with. So my head's flat. My arms are going to go in a Y shape. Now I am very much limited by the wall. For these, when I do it, I'm going to move myself out, but you want your arms to be in a Y shape, okay, out to the side. Thumbs up to the ceiling. First thing you're going to do is lift the hands. You're going to rotate them as you take them all the way back, squeeze together, and then back. Okay, so these are called swimmers. Top of the head will go down on the mat. We're going to do this 10 times. We're trying to get, hopefully you can still see me, we're trying to get like a maximum in all of these positions. Let me just see if I've got enough space. A little bit more. Oh. There we go. Okay, so we're trying to go as high as we can. We're trying to reach out as far as we can. And we're trying to rotate as much as we can. Okay, so forehead on the floor. Arms in a Y shape. Pull the shoulders back to begin with. Okay, can we see this? Lift the hands. Rotate all the way. I'm still too close to this bloody wall. I need a bigger space. Okay, head down. Y shape. Lift. Pull the shoulders down. Rotate all the way round as you go. All the way back. And all the way forwards. I'm still in the way of the radiator. That was 10. Lift. Shoulders back. Rotate. That's better. All the way. Squeeze. Back. That's 9. Down. Up. 8. I don't know how it keeps getting closer. Oh God. That was 8. I think I'm lost to 7. 6. 5. 4. Should be slow and focused. 3. 2. 1. Okay. Whew. Yeah, I need a lot more space to do this one. Next week I'm going to take my camera further back and give myself more room. Okay, one more on the mat, lying on our tummy. So we're going to take either our band or our stick. So if you haven't got a band, the stick will do. We're going to lie, same position, forehead down. And we're going to take the band across our back. I'm going to take it into our hands, palm up, either side of our hips, head down. Oh, I've got my glasses on again. Head down. And what we're going to do, keeping the shoulders back, is lift as high as we can 10 times. And we're not just lifting up, we're also pulling the hands away from each other, just slightly, just a little bit, okay? Again, 10 times. So head down, pull, lift, 10, 9, 8, again, should feel like hard work. 5, 1 more. Okay. Whew. Before we do the next bit, I'm just going to check I'm still filming because my phone has a habit of ruining my life. How long have we been going? Oh, we've been going for ages. Okay. It's going to be quite a long one today. Okay. So, let me just check where we're going next. Okay, cool. So we're going to need our band for all of the next section. I've tried to include as much of the different positions today but it's not always possible to do everything perfectly just with a band. Okay, so we're doing as much as we can. So we're going to do overhead raises, similar to what we just did on the floor when we were kneeling, but with the band. So the first time, you're going to hold the band with your palms towards the floor, looped around your fingers, about shoulder width apart. Okay, and then you're going to rotate the thumbs up towards the ceiling. Okay, hands about shoulder width apart. And all we're going to do is try and go as high as we can, 10 times, and I'm pulling the bar, or I say the bar, the band, away from itself, okay? I'm almost slightly trying to go into external rotation, so I'm trying to pull just ever so slightly. So, palm, knuckles on top, palms down, thumbs wrapped, and then rotate the thumbs up, okay? Thumbs towards the ceiling. Pull the bar, the band, and lift the arms 10 times. So here we go, 10. Go as high as you can. 9. The shoulders will want to raise, it's okay. 8. Don't let them come up to your ears, but don't force them down. 5. 4. 3. 2. 1. Okay, we're now going to do the same in external rotation. So now we hold palms up, okay, and again we pull and we try and keep our elbow pit to the ceiling. Don't let it roll in, okay? Same thing, 10, 9, keep going. 5, 3, 1. Whew. I don't know about you, but my shoulders are starting to burn in a good way. It feels good. Okay, take a second if you need it. Give your shoulders a little bit of a shake off. So the next one we're gonna do, sorry, I'm just checking that I know what I don't forget anything. Oh, okay, I have forgotten one actually, before we do the next bit. So for this one, we're nearly there guys, there's not much longer, other than our stretches. So this one, we're gonna need to play around to begin with, so you can just try this with me. So I'm holding my band, knuckles on top, and I have mine quite wide. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna take it over all the way to the back and back again, okay? Now what we don't want to have happen is like this. Oh, see how I'm really arching to get it over. We want to try and keep as tucked in as possible. So I'm sucking in my belly and my bum towards each other as much as I can, okay? So we also don't want to be like uneven. So if you're having to kind of go like, oh, to get over, then your hands are not wide enough. So take them as wide as you need. You can also use a stick for this one, okay, like a broom handle or something you can use for this one. So it might be quite wide to begin with, and you may find as you're doing it, you can get your hands closer. So just test it a few times first. See if you can figure out where you want your hands so that it feels challenging, but not impossible. Okay, so mine I feel like it's a little bit closer. And remember it's a band as well, so if it is a band rather than a stick, it's stretchy, so it might even be closer than you think. I feel like I do need mine way closer than I think I do. Okay, when you're ready, we're going to do 10 of these as well. So keep your tummy tucked in and your bum tucked in, over and back. And that's 1. 5, I believe. 4, 3, 2, One more. Okay. So, one more today. So we're going to do external rotation. Internal is harder to do with a band alone. So I think I already said when we do, I'm going to do some stuff in the next weeks that is specifically for using on the pole. Okay, so I will keep that as like a separate video. So if you don't have a pole at home, it's fine. Okay, basically. So this one, what we're going to do, we're going to take our hand. There's actually two ways you can do it. You can do it palm up or palm down. Palm up takes you into external rotation, which for pole dancers, we need a good, strong external rotation because external rotation essentially gets a lot of the back sort of shoulder muscles really involved, okay? When we're in internal, that's kind of pushing more towards the front of the body. We're kind of having this rolling in effect of the shoulder. Everything in pole, really, not everything, but a lot of things in pole are like front body heavy. So we use a lot of pecs, we use a lot of biceps, okay? We use these already quite a lot. So if we can try and get into external rotation, that's usually a good thing. So we are going to take it with the palm up to begin with. About shoulder width apart, elbows glued to the side, and we're just going to try and take the arms out away from each other. So my band is very solid, it's quite a hard one. So for me, I actually want a bit of slack to start with, but see how you feel, okay? Should be challenging but not impossible. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, one more, 1. Okay, now take your hands this way. Okay, it's the same thing again. Now with the knuckles on top. And elbows in. 10, 9. This might feel a bit different. 8. Still a bit too tight for me. 7. Keep it going. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, we have 2 more band exercises and then we're going to have a really good stretch. So remember, this is only part of what we need to get healthy shoulders. So I'm going to have another video where we do foam rollering and use a ball to kind of release a lot of this. We've got the stretches today. And then also we need to be strong as well. So I will do some strength training stuff too. Okay, so this one I'm going to cut my head off because you won't be able to see my head, but you don't need to. So we're going to take our band and we're going to put it under our foot, okay, at the front to begin with. We're going to hold the band, thumbs facing forwards by our side, okay, and you want it already a little bit tight, but not too tight, okay, so play around the first few goes. Shoulders kind of back and down, standing nice and tall, suck your tummy in, and we're going to try and raise the arm out in front. So for me that was slightly too tight, so I'm going to release my band a little bit. When you're ready, we're going to do 10. So 10. Doesn't need to go super high. 9. Keep going. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Other foot, other hand. If I turn myself. So band under the foot. Figure out where you want it, have a little play. Okay, and 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, keep going, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. Now we're going to do extension. So it's going to go behind the heel this time. Okay. The hand is still going to face with the thumb forwards, but it's going to go backwards now. So we're going to pull that way. Okay. Again, 10 on each side. So stand tall, suck everything in, shoulders back and down, 10. Like mine needs to be tighter. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Other side. And 10, 9, 8, 7. Try and keep the shoulders forward. They want to twist. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. Just going to check we're still filming before we stretch. Yeah, perfect. So just going to finish off with some stretches because clearly, oh, I forgot one with the block, but that's fine. We'll do that next week. We don't need to do that this week. So obviously we not only need to strengthen things, but we need to release it too. So we're going to do some stretches. Starting off, kneeling, bum up, chest down, reaching the arms really forwards, looking towards the hands, and trying to get our armpits towards the floor. Notice if one side is tighter than the other. You might have already figured this out doing your pictures anyways, but pay attention to the body. If you're tight on one side, it can often be tempting to lean towards the side that is a bit bendier. Try not to do that. Try and keep the weight evenly in the arms. So we're going to lie flat on our tummies now. We'll go this way slightly so there's room so you can see. I'm going to take my arm directly out in line with my shoulder. So I've got my right arm directly out in a line. My left leg now is going to start to come over towards, as if I'm rolling on my back. And my right arm is also going to reach over as far as I can. Move this way a little bit. So if you're trying to get your hands together and your bum towards the floor, don't force it. Listen to your body. You might not be able to go as far as me. That's fine. Back to the middle, and then we're going to do the other side. So now my left arm goes out in a line straight to the side, my right leg rolls as if I'm trying to get onto my back, and my right arm joins over, trying to get my hands together. This is a bit of a weird one. There's a kind of a spinal twist involved here as well, so if you're finding you can't quite get to your shoulders yet, that's okay. We're going to go back onto our tummy. We're going to do the same thing again, but now with the arm bent. So I find the straight arm one gets more into kind of like my delts, okay, so kind of like around here. Whereas the bent arm version I find gets more into my pecs and my bicep, okay, but everyone's going to be different. It's not wrong if you're feeling a stretch in a different place to everyone else, because you're tight in ways that are unique to you, okay, we're not all the same. So this time the arm is in a right angle, the elbow is in line with the shoulder, and that hand is in line with the elbow. Okay, exactly the same thing. So I've got my right arm bent, now my left leg goes over, but this time I'm probably going to leave my left hand on the floor. Okay, because that's plenty for me. If you need more stretch, take the arm up. Okay. And hold. Okay, back to the centre, off to the other side. So now my left arm is going to bend in a right angle. My right leg is going to go over. And I'm going to keep my right arm on the floor because I'm very tight here. Okay, coming out. So this one you might want to use a block for, but you can also use the wall actually. I'm going to put my block down. I'm going to put my elbows together and my palms together. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to sink my chest towards the floor. Don't force it. Nice and breathing. If you're doing it on the wall, hard to show you, but essentially get your elbows up and then sort of stick your bum back and try and push your chest into the wall. Try not to load into your lower back too much on this one. Okay, if it feels like it's too much in the lower back, tuck your bum under. You may find one side is tighter than the other. Okay, slowly coming out. Coming to kneeling. We're going to take our arm across the body. We're pulling our hand away, but we're also trying to pull our shoulder back and down away from the hand. So essentially you've got the shoulder going one way and the hand going the other. Shouldn't be super intense, this one, for most people, but still a good one to do. And the other side. So pull the hand and the shoulder away from each other. If you can hear Dollar licking his face and making loads of slobbery noises. Bleh. He is so gross, Dollar. He isn't really, well, he is. He's very dribbly, but he's very cute. The silly boy fell down the stairs today, didn't you? Luckily only the last few steps and he was okay, but women animals. All right, so the next one. Lots of different ways you can do this one. So we're going to take one arm and we're going to reach overhead. Okay, the other arm, a lot of people prefer to kind of just put the hand down. You might want to go to elbow if you're really bendy. Some people might even just want to put their hand on their leg if they're not very bendy. Okay, so whatever's comfortable for you. So reach up and over. And we're thinking about really lengthening this part of the body. So you're pulling your ribs away from your hip. You're really reaching the arm up and over as well. And if you suck your rib cage in a little bit, you can get a little bit more up into your lats. Play around with your stretch. Try and find different parts. Okay, you can wiggle around a little bit. You can lean more one way. You can pull back more. It's not really a wrong in stretch. If you can find the stretch and it feels good, there's nothing wrong with that. And the other side. Reach up and over. Stretch the rib cage away from the hips. Suck the belly button in and the rib cage in. Coming out slowly. Okay, now we're going to really stretch out the neck because this is an area, particularly our traps in pole dances, that get a bit overused. So if you're one of those people that tends to hug your shoulders up to your ears and really squeeze, you're probably going to be very, very tight. So we already did some really big circles. We're going to just do this one more time. So really pulling the shoulder away from the ears. The biggest circle you can do. What is it, Dollar? It's like, I just want to play. I want to go for a walk. No, buddy. No, buds. Go on, go lie down. You can't go for a walk. It's too hot today. You will die. You will die. Go on, go lie down. And the other direction. Go on, go lie down. Nearly done. This is when he's like, you have been working for too long, Mum. Lie down, Zola. Come on, baby. That's it. Good boy. That's it. Good boy. Yeah, you just stay there a minute. Nearly done, guys. So, shoulders, neck stretching. So, what people tend to do when they're stretching their neck is they hold their head and they push their opposite shoulder away. The problem is this puts quite a lot of strain actually on the top of your neck. So, what we're going to do, we're going to take whichever hand you want. You're going to reach across to the other shoulder. And you're going to pin down the muscle. Now, as you do this, there's actually different places you can push on. So as long as you can feel a stretch, either down the side of the neck or sort of more towards the back of the neck, you're doing it right, okay? For me, there's like a little dip, okay, right here. And if I put my fingers there, what I'm going to do is take my head away from where I'm pressing, okay? Play around until you can feel a stretch. And you should feel it kind of going up into your head. Okay, essentially we're pushing down on the insertion site of the muscle so that we can stretch just using our head rather than pulling. You might even feel this up into your jaw. Then we're going to tilt the head forward towards the armpit. You might then need to move your fingers around to get the same kind of stretch. So if I'm going to come forward a little bit and try to taking my fingers a little bit further back. And then the other side, so fingers into the little dippy bit, head to the opposite side. Also on this side it's slightly different positioning. And not as tight this side, so pay attention to which side's tighter. and then forwards. Okay, then we're going to go back. So this one's a bit savage. So just above your collarbone, okay, I say just above, just below, sorry. Yeah, just below. You're going to push down, either with your knuckle or your fingers, whatever feels more comfortable. Just below it. And you're going to pull your head up and slightly away. So if I'm on the right one, my head's going slightly to the left. So find your insertion point just below your collarbone, say insertion point, a point in the muscle. Pull up and off to the side. This one you should feel more down the front. This one I feel very much in my jaw. I have really bad jaw, so this is probably a good thing for it. And then the other side, so pushing just in below, pull up and away. Okay, and then the last one, we're going to take the head forwards. So we're going to get the hands behind the head, tuck the chin forwards, let your back slouch if it wants to. And just to finish, we'll do some wrists as well, because we have done a lot of being on our hands. So we're going to do knuckles down, pushing to straight arm. And it's all interconnected. I mean, when does it stop though? Because everything is interconnected. Next we'll be doing our feet. And then palm down, fingers back, so as if they're palm up to start with, tuck the fingers under. Okay, and that is it for today. Make sure you come back next week. So we will be doing very similar at the beginning, but then we'll have a section on the end that really goes into how all of this applies to pole. We'll do some pole strength training. It'll be a bit more condensed, but essentially the same plus a bit extra, okay? Any questions at all, obviously, let me know. Remember, please let me know of any injuries, and definitely share your starting pictures in the group. Keep them somewhere safe, and at the end of the course you're going to retake them and see if you've improved. Thank you for joining me today. Have a great day.